go. Am I going live? Yes, I am live in the house. Yes, why am I going live today? I'm going live so you don't have to. This live session on LinkedIn is to help anybody that's struggling to put out their best work. They're struggling to reveal themselves, maybe because they have what's called imposter syndrome. So I thought today, let me just press the go live button and see what happens. Am I going to turn into a pillar of salt? Am I going to disappear? What is going to be happen? What is the worst that will happen if you actually put yourself in the firing line and go live and just press that button? What's the worst that can happen? So I've got like 15 tips to help challenge that whole notion that we get when it comes to like imposter syndrome, right? And these are things that I've come up with over the last say 5 to 10 years that kind of like work for me, right? So first things first, let's think about what is happening when we get in imposter syndrome. We're getting these thoughts that come into our mind that we're ruminating over, and we started to give it more credence, more validity than necessary. So if we just take a look at physics and we understand that nothing travels faster than the speed of light, at least that's the kind of like understand that we have at this moment. And light travels at 186,000 miles per second. So our thoughts can be beaming around at these speeds, right? So they're very, very fast. That's why sometimes when you get this imposter syndrome, it's so quick that even though we might have some coping strategies, it might not help us in time. Imposter syndrome is really kicked in, right? And sometimes people talk about this negative self-talk when it's moving maybe at the speed of sound, i.e., they're talking themselves into problems. They're talking themselves into panicking. They're talking themselves into having these anxiety-induced attacks, right? So that can move maybe at the speed of sound, right? So what we're going to be talking about here is a technique that I've used and it does work. And there are 15 steps to this, right? So anybody that's going through imposter syndrome, just listen up and pay attention to what I'm going to reveal to you, right? There's a way we can hack this system, hack the brain, right? And we can hack traveling faster than the speed of light. And that is to go into cheat mode. What I mean by that is this. We need to be thinking about moving it at the speed faster than intuition, faster than our reflexes, right? So what I want us to start thinking about is thinking and visualizing in a dreamlike state. Because we all know being in a dream, you can go anywhere. You can traverse the universe. Yes, it's not the physical dimension, but time will reveal, maybe in 100 years' time, 2 years from now, we might be mapping out our dreams and traveling long distances. So I want us to think about the dream world for now. I know it's a bit out there, but start thinking about the dream world and putting into our mind certain concepts that we can then think about and dream about when we are semi-conscious or unconscious, as it were. Yeah. So the first one is we need to exercise self-compassion. We need to learn to give each other, ourselves, first and foremost, a hug. We need to learn to hug ourselves and be happy in that moment that we are hugging ourselves. Because if we can't hug ourselves, we cannot really expect somebody else to give us the same level of self-compassion. It's in the word, self-compassion. You got to be able to heal yourself. You got to be able to say to yourself and forgive yourself for things that have not gone right, things that you might have made an assumption about and didn't go the right way. Self-compassion is so so key. You're not the finished article. Yeah, I am Douglas today, maybe 2.0. Tomorrow I'll be Douglas 2.1, and so forth and so forth. I want you to view yourself in that mindset that you're a work in progress. So again, these are like mantras and things that you can say to yourself before you go to sleep. That when you're in that dreamlike state, you're talking to yourself about self-compassion, right? It's going into your very DNA. So when you're now being called into action, into delivering a presentation, a speech, self of some kind, it's really part of you that you really love yourself. You understand? You've exercised some self-compassion, right? The second one is own your scars. This is very, 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 very important. The scars that we wear, if we start to feel ashamed of these scars, that will then feed into imposter syndrome. If you try and cover up our scars, we're going to be presenting ourselves in a way that is less confident. We need to wear our scars with pride. It shows that we've lived. It's the human body's response to remind us of what has happened. And there's beauty in scars. If you follow the Wabi-Sabi and these Japanese terms for what, Kintsu, how is it, Kintsusai? Something like that. And what Wabi-Sabi way of thinking, basically it's talk about aging well, understanding there's beauty in aging, and also understanding that your scars are also beautiful. And that's why in Japanese philosophy, and I think it permeates into even Buddhist teachings as well, when a piece of pottery is broken, they will heal the pottery by using gold leaf, gold paint, so that the bowl or the ornament that was broken is now reassembled, and you can see and you can glorify and accentuate all the fault lines that were there when the item had cracked. So it's being reassembled in a fashion that is still beautiful and it's insinuating the cracks. Whereas in the Western philosophy, we tend to hide away from our scars. Our scars, we go wear them with pride. They're evidence of the things that we've gone through in life. Yeah. Three is armory of harmony. You need to armor yourself, like put the plates, breastplate on, arm plates, all of that kind of stuff, as if you're a knight, yeah? And armor yourself with harmony, meaning your body and everything you do got to be in harmony with nature. The food that we eat, stay away from processed food that can trigger anxiety. If you can grow your own food, pay attention to the seeds that you're planting. This is so, so important to be in harmony. That means you're moving and in alignment with nature. I cannot stress that enough. Be in alignment with your very nature. And that leads me on to number 4, which is about movement. Everything in the universe is moving. So you got to be moving at frequency that resonates well with action. Nothing is static. If you do not move, you shall be moved. And when you are feeling like you are being moved and everything is crashing around you, that normally is a sign that you're going to be getting depressed, and that through depression, you're going to have anxiety because you're not in control. You have to move. This is why I say to people all the time, yes, imposter syndrome is debilitating, but the things that you could do on a physiological plane that help shift the whole paradigm of imposter syndrome. One of them is movement. Even by walking up and down the stage, you're connecting your feet with the ground. You're moving. And over time, you find that your legs will not feel like jelly. Okay, it's important to be active, to move. When we do not move, that's when things crash around us. You gotta move in a way that is symbolic and matches the things that we want to do in our life. So if you think about these things as mantras, if you find a mantra for every one of these points and you speak them before you go to bed 3 or 4 times, it becomes part of your very nature. And that helps you also combat imposter syndrome because all evidence will point to the fact of one, you're moving. Yeah? You've got your armory of harmony around you. Yeah? You exercise compassion for yourself and you've embraced your scars. So let's move on. Let's move on. The next one is gratitude. Yeah, you have to have gratitude. You got to be thankful for the situation that you find yourself in. It's an opportunity. In situation, you have opportunity. And if you're able to understand what that truly means and represents, you can always find a way to benefit or to help other people benefit from that situation. Having gratitude is a humbling experience. Instead of thinking about me, 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 how can I serve? How can I be served? How can you serve humanity? How can you put things into play that will help your fellow human being? Gratitude is so, so important. Be thankful for the breath that you have in your lungs. Other people have been denied breath To be a human being is one of the most luckiest things you could ever possibly imagine. The likelihood of us even coming to existence is in the trillions. So just the fact that we're here, we owe it to ourselves to be grateful for this opportunity and fully embrace the moment that we're in. Okay? So while you're doing that, it leads on to, I think, number six, what we're talking about now. Possibly six. I think it's six. I'm not seeing any comments on this one, so I'm just going live. So I don't know if anybody's saying anything, but um, stop chasing. I know this is LinkedIn, so it's all about professionals. People want to either sell products or services, right? They want to increase their value that they're offering to companies, etc. I do get it, but there comes a point in our life when we have to stop chasing titles, stop chasing remuneration, and start going for value. Work out how you can offer value to people. And when I say stop chasing these things, particularly if you're chasing um, things that support your social standing, keeping up with the Joneses, these things are immaterial. You're going to get to a stage in your life when you realize that, oh, you look back, think, I went for all of that for nothing. It meant nothing to me. And this is why people get so dissatisfied when they're reached. Some might perceive the zenith in their careers. They might think, oh, bro, I made it. I got this high paying position. But they're not happy. They're not happy. This is why you got to stop chasing and start thinking about the value that you're offering, that you're actually delivering. Yeah? Leads me on to number seven. Number seven is kind of tight, right? So bear with me on this one. Number seven, I'm talking about, and this might trigger some people. Some people right now might feel, oh my God, Douglas, why are you going in on a Tuesday lunchtime, GMT, unprovoked, and you're going in? Because I think it's important. Imposter syndrome cuts deep. Let's not play games. Imposter syndrome cuts deep. So, my question to you is, do you value your own life? Do you believe that your life is worth saving? Because if you do not believe your life is worth saving and you're living only for other people, you're going to find imposter syndrome is 10x. You find a lot of dissatisfaction with how the world operates, and you will not be in harmony with your true self. You have to believe, and you have to believe with all your being that your life is worth saving. And every day that we are living, we have to face that question. Is our life worth saving? And if so, what are we doing to preserve our life? What foods are we eating? What books are we reading? What friends are we keeping? What are we doing? Because if our life is worth saving, okay, we will value the things I've just mentioned. And all of these things, if we put those ingredients into our big mixing bowl of life, we will find, yeah, that imposter syndrome does not really have the same effect as opposed to not doing those things. If your life is not worth saving, yeah, because imposter syndrome talks to you in that way. It tells you, you know, you're worthless. You'll never amount to anything. Who are you to even think about having this job? You know, you're the wrong gender. You're the wrong race. You don't have money. You know, you're a fraud. You're gonna be caught out anytime soon. This is imposter syndrome. So you have to believe with all your being that your life is worth saving. It is worth saving. Okay. Um, Number eight is, this is for all you visualizers out there. I'm a visualizer, so I see things clearly in my mind before I execute anything. Typically, if I can't see it, I won't do it. And that's been the story of my life. I'm a very strong visualizer. I grew up at a time when my mother had this catalog, Freeman's catalog, Case catalog, all of these catalogs. And I used to tear out pages from BMX bikes, electronic gadgets, all that kind of stuff. I said, look, this is what I want. So I would have those um, those pages ripped out and I put them on my wall. I was to visualize myself having that BMX bike, having that skateboard, having that Frogger, having that Atari, ST, Commodore 64, Amstrad CPC 464. All of these things, I'll visualize it to the point that I can see myself having it. I can feel it. I know what I'm gonna be wearing. I know what I'm gonna be saying. I can literally live it. So then by being able to be a strong visualizer, everything I do in the waking hours, I'm just going over tracing paper because I've already seen myself doing it. I've already seen myself doing it, and so being able to visualize is such an important attribute you need to combat imposter syndrome because you got to see yourself on stage dropping bombs, dropping mic drops, smashing it. But if you're only seeing yourself, like being pulled down into what's called a cavity trapdoor, yeah, you will struggle. So you have to be able to visualize. Visualization is so, so important. And that then leads me on to what you do with your visualization. If any of you are familiar with the Avengers and how the Avengers were assembled, that Marvel cinematic universe superhero type stuff, you assemble a team of people around you that have super abilities to help free the world of tyranny. Yeah, right? The Avengers. You understand what that's all about. You need to assemble a council of mentors in your mind. Visualize them. So you start thinking of all the people of influence, and either you read their biographies so you can really understand and get into their skin, outside the flesh but inside the bones. Get right into them and figure out how do they speak, how do they sound, all these kinds of stuff. Then, with your council of mentors, try and assemble maybe 5, even 10. My ones, I got people like Martin Luther King, I got Barack Obama, I got Einstein, I have Michael Schumacher. I got so many people in my council of mentors in my mind. Once a month, at least, I do this exercise. I visualize going into a lift, going to the fifth floor, 10th floor, whatever it is, and open the door, and my council of mentors are sitting in a round table. And they call me in, and I have to be accountable for the things that I've said, done, or have not done. And each one of them will ask me questions. And because I've read their autobiographies, I watch their videos, I understand how they speak. I'm then now in a situation where I have to defend myself. I have to be accountable. And so many times that when we are going on stage and we're doing videos or whatever it is, doing presentations, we lose that sense of accountability. We lose all sense of accountability. Once you have an instruction to go and do something, we can go there and execute. So having a council of mentors is my life hack. It really, really helps me to work. I know I'm accountable. You know, I got authority. I got a responsibility, and I'm accountable. Those three things. Visualize that before you go to bed and dream about your council of elders. I guarantee you, when you wake up in the morning, and as long as you have articulate yourself well before your council of mentors, you will have a great day. I can guarantee you this. It's almost like I'm a geek, so if you look at Superman 1, when he has all the crystals and all the information from Krypton on there, he gets a council of elders. This is what you need in your life to move yourself forward. Okay. The next one we're moving on to is relabeling the moment. Life is a series of moments. Yeah, even if you look at frame rates, how you see me now on this live stream, they're frame rates, right? And I set my camera at 30 frames per second. Yeah, that's the frame rate. All right. So life in itself is a series of moments. And if we get into the habit of using binary expressions to express how we're feeling in any one of those moments, we're doing ourselves a great disservice. Not only are we discriminating colors, for example, why is the day going to be bad because it's a black day? Yeah? Why? Why are things boring when we say gray? Yeah? Why are things bad or good? All of these things, as long as we are using binary expressions to describe moments, we not only disrespect the color spectrum, also we limit our ability to add nuance to how we're truly feeling, because every moment is never repeated. Every single situation you might think is the same. You might think you bombed on stage. You might think that you've done a crap YouTube video. You might think nobody's going to take you seriously. But each one of those are separate moments and they require separate language to describe them. So I'm saying to you, think on a deeper level, apply different language, up your dictionary to describe every single moment, and then you'll find there are subtleties to every single one, and you can learn from those subtleties. But if you group everything as bad, if you group everything as black, which is ultra negative anyway, and those you guys should never use black in a negative connotation anyway. That's not what we're talking about here, right? Life comes out of darkness. The body operates in total darkness, right? So we shouldn't be using colors to define moments. Up our language, okay? Number 10, and for you guys are staying with me, great stuff. Because I was going to make this into lots of videos, but I figured let me just go live anyway, yeah? Number 10, we have to honor the farmers that planted seeds in our lives. Honor the people that injected into us a thought, which it could be a seed, a moment of inspiration that believed in us, that helped us on our journey. It could be a passage in a book. That's the seed. Whatever you have used as a way of coping with the life that you're in, these are seeds. You have to honor the author of that seed, honor the farmer that planted that seed in you. This is so important. Recognize that people have inputted into our lives on this journey. Give them a phone call, send them a text message, do something. But don't let the farmer not be acknowledged for planting that seed in you. It could be your parents, it could be your brother, it could be a complete stranger, it could even be your cat. If it's your cat, give your cat a stroke. Yeah? Now moving on to number 11, I believe. Is it right? Number 11 is, again, this is now looking at Buddhist philosophy about the first and second arrow. Imposter syndrome works on the premise of shooting us down. It crushes our confidence. It makes us believe that we're worthless, right? So the first arrow is the arrow where something unintended has happened to you. Life is a series of moments, as I've said, but sometimes in the moments, tragedy happens beyond our control. This is the first arrow. You might have actually slipped on stage. Yeah, total accident, freak accident, it happened. That's the first arrow. The second arrow is what we then use to describe that situation internally. And that's the one that kills us more. This is the second arrow. We're all going to be hit by first arrows in life. Yeah? Moments beyond our control, moments beyond our ability to put in any mitigations. Yeah, it could be being hit by a car, it could be losing your job, loss of a spouse, all of these things. These are first arrows. Second arrows that come are coming from us, ourselves. Negative self-talk, unable to reframe, readdress what's happened to us, right? So don't be the person with the second arrow that's a poisonous dart that will really debilitate you. Understand, first arrows will come. Yeah? First arrows will come. We need to immerse ourselves in the truth. So number 12 we have is, if you are ever offered the truth serum, Take it. Take it. You know, talk about red pill, blue pill. If you ever offered the truth serum, take it. Whether it's hourly, daily, monthly, weekly, whatever the case may be. There's no overdosing on the truth. The truth will set you free, no matter how difficult it is. Tell yourself the truth. Seek out the truth before you go to bed and see how you wake up the very next day. I guarantee you, you'll be a different person to deal with if you've immersed yourself in the truth. The problem is a lot of us tell internal lies to ourselves, true lies that we believe over time. And the older we get, up to a certain age, we've told ourselves some really horrendous lies. We bought stuff that we're never going to use. We have pretended that we're something that we're not. We might be in marriages, in relationships that we pretended that we are something that we're not. Immerse yourself in the truth. The truth will set you free and allow you to grow. The problem is a lot of people will protect those lies with everything that they have because they fear of being found out, even by their own selves. It's too scary. But stand on stage, the mic on, the record button on, cameras are engaged, lighting engaged. I can't lie. I'm here. I'm sitting before you. That's the truth. This is not AI driven. This is just me expressing myself to you. And hopefully it resonates. If it doesn't, I'll try again the next one. But my whole intention is to connect with people. So I'm immersing myself in the truth. Take the truth serum whenever it's offered to you. There's no overdosing on truth, right? Number 13 is maximize your wins. No matter how small they are, you have to celebrate those wins. You have to. If you're revising for exam, for every hour you revise, give yourself a jelly baby. Do something. Celebrate your wins. Don't let a win go without acknowledgement because the inner voice, the inner child, listens and sees how you treat it. So you have to be conscious of that. If you are in a fortunate situation to benefit out of a situation, acknowledge it because you know, and I think most people will testify to this. You win today. Most wins over time reveal themselves as to be actually a defeat. You winning the argument, proving somebody is wrong, there's a price you're going to have to pay for that. Not only is your relationship with the person you just shot down diminished, okay, they might prove themselves to be right over time. You know, water, H2O could be liquid, gas, or solid, correct? The different states of truth, the different states things can be in, and the different perspectives all the time. So people who have this great fixation of being right all the time struggle with really, really bad imposter syndrome. People who are like this can't produce content because they know by pressing the record button, they're going to be exposed. And that fear of embarrassment, of shame, of being called out is enough to say, I can't do it. They'll rather give up than go on that learning journey, that exploratory journey for themselves. Because one thing happens that's so unique when you press record is you reveal yourself. And you got to put the ego to the side. Yeah? So celebrate your wins. Number 14, right? Keep up with me, is always look up before looking down. Always look up before you look down. And what I mean by that is from wherever you are, cast your eyes to the heavens, to the sky and beyond. And imagine you're actually in the deepest part of space and looking back at the blue planet that we live on. How beautiful it is. So you look down and down and down until you get back to Earth. Okay, you zoom out, you zoom in. Yeah, always take the macro to the micro view on life. Look up before looking down. Okay, it helps ground you in terms of where you are. Where is this actually taking place? If you're on stage and your knees are buckling, you're starting to sweat, you're starting having problems with your breathing, get your breathing right. I done a post earlier on today and just walk in the park, just concentrate on my breathing, get my breathing right, then you can deliver content. deliver content on the exhale. Inhale through your nose, exhale through your mouth. And on the exhale, that's when you start speaking. You're breathing life into the conversation. Okay? So look up before looking down. And the last one, I would say, it's all about connection. When you are producing content and you're on stage, people generally want to see you win. If people have invested the time to see you, they're not looking to shoot you down as such. They've invested in you. They want you to win. Your mindset should be only about connecting with people. Yeah? Yeah, that's Kintsugi type philosophy. It's about connecting. That's all you want to do. Then with the connection, you have people's attention. Then with their attention, you can build relationships or you can sell things. But all too often, people want to do things without connecting to people. And people can smell that a mile away. Before you connect to me, how dare you try and sell me anything? How dare you try to sell me anything? We must do our dance. We must do the dance to see if we are mutually compatible. You know, we must play golf together. We must do something to see where we connect. This is why a lot of health tech startup companies are struggling to sell in the environment where it's health, education, administration, because they're failing to make that connection with the human. So I hope you guys have found that useful. It's time for you to face the world and do your thing. Take care of yourself and each other. And as we do around here, I'm out. Wow. Let's see how it goes.